July 17, 1944, Normandy, on the outskirts of Saint-Lô. Nighttime. A Sherman tank is on fire, its turret blown apart by an explosion. Sergeant Jack Hayes, nicknamed Hose, walks through the smoke. He doesn't rush to the fire extinguisher. He drags the hoses. A second later, the flames are smothered by steam. Today you will learn how a homemade water jacket around the ammunition box stopped the fire, why the command wanted to ban it, and how the night field tests ended. Watch until the end. The finale will surprise you. After the battle, we inspect the vehicle. The hull is intact, the engine is alive, but inside the ammo rack is burned out. This is the main problem with the Sherman's dry stowage. The shells are stored in a dry metal box next to the crew. A nearby hit. The metal is red hot, the paint is smoking, and in seconds there is a cook-off. The powder ignites, the fire hits the cables and hydraulics, and the crew loses the vehicle. A fire extinguisher only helps if you are lucky and the fire is small. In narrow streets, where we are being attacked from the flanks, there is almost no time. We see the same thing. A hit on the ammo box. A flash, smoke, then fire and evacuation. Commanders write in their reports, "Fire in the stowage." Mechanics replace the burnt wiring harnesses. But this does not solve the problem. We need a simple answer to a simple question. How can we immediately remove heat from the ammunition box at the moment of impact to prevent the fire from spreading and buy the crew at least half a minute? This is exactly what Hayes is thinking about. His name is Sergeant Jack Hayes, Hose. Before the war, he repaired radiators and knew how to dissipate heat from any piece of metal. At the repair base, his hands give him away. They are burned and smell of glycol and smoke. He is not a poster boy. He is a stubborn man who counts bolts and seconds. He examines every burned-out Sherman tank as if it were a crime scene, where the fire started, where it spread, why the men didn't make it out in time. And at some point, Hayes realizes that fire cannot be defeated with a fire extinguisher, only with design. He climbs back into the burnt-out tank. He traces the soot on the wall of the ammunition box with his finger. Dry, hollow, like an oven. We don't extinguish it. We feed the fire, Hayes whispers. And then it clicks. Radiators, boilers, any tin can, if you pour water on it, gives off heat. Why isn't there a layer next to the ammunition that immediately dissipates the heat? Why are the shells stored in a dry, uncooled box? He rubs his palm with graphite, draws a rectangle on the armor, and around it, the outline of a shirt. Water or a mixture, it doesn't matter, as long as it draws heat. Between the wall and the shells is felt, so that they don't shake or rub. At the top is an overflow, at the bottom is drainage. Simple as a bucket and a pipe. Silly, until you try it. He looks at the charred hatch and sees not ruins, but a diagram. If you take away the peak temperature of the fire in the first few seconds, it won't spread. It doesn't matter what you call it, initiative or genius. What matters is that the crew has time to breathe. In the repair area, Hayes assembles a simple kit that any mechanic can replicate. He bends a galvanized steel cover to fit the size of an ammo box. He places a layer of felt between the cover and the box to act as a gasket and heat buffer. He makes an overflow port at the top and a drain port at the bottom. He pulls a copper tube through and secures it with clamps. Next to the pipe, he attaches a small sight glass so he can immediately see if there is any liquid present. The filling is a mixture of water and glycol, as in radiator cooling. It increases the boiling point and prevents the system from freezing. No pump is needed. The liquid is poured from a canister into the upper pipe, and the excess flows out through the overflow, allowing air to escape and filling the entire volume. The result? A water jacket appears around the ammunition box, which dissipates heat in the first seconds after a hit and reduces the risk of fire. Captain Randall arrives for inspection, immediately notices the new cover around the ammo box, and demands that the modification be removed. It is not approved, and there is a risk of fire, corrosion, and violation of regulations. Hayes asks for at least one combat sortie with the kit. If the system does not work, he will remove everything himself. The crew commander, Lieutenant Brooks, supports the request and takes responsibility. After a pause, looking at the list of recent losses, Randall gives conditional permission. 1 covert test. At the slightest sign of fire, immediate dismantling and official investigation. The column emerges at dusk. Tanks drive down a narrow street, flanked by houses and barns. Next to Brooks's vehicle is Hayes's kit. A cover around the ammo box, the mixture poured to the mark in the sight glass. A minute later, the shelling begins. The first shell hits the side near the stowage. Instead of the usual flash, there is a dull thud and a long hissing sound. The water in the cover evaporates and takes the peak temperature with it. The flame does not spread, the cables do not ignite, and the ammunition does not detonate. The tank remains in motion. The crew holds the line and retreats to cover on command. Upon inspection, it is clear that the wall of the ammo box is hot but intact. The felt has darkened. The mixture has receded by a couple of divisions. The overflow and drainage have worked. The report notes the main points. When the tank was hit near the ammunition storage, only smoke appeared without open flames. The ammunition was not damaged, and the vehicle was not lost. This is the first outing with the system, and it shows that the idea can work in real combat. Over the course of a week, simple statistics are collected on the platoon, before and after. Before installation, there were an average of 2 fires or ammunition detonations per 3 battles. 1 vehicle returned under its own power, and the rest were evacuated or burned. After installing a water jacket around the ammo box, there were 5 consecutive battles without open flames in the combat compartment. 4 vehicles returned on their own, and 1 required minimal repairs. The mixture consumption is clear. After hits, the level in the sight glass drops by 1 or 2 divisions, and refilling takes a couple of minutes from a canister. The crews note the main thing. When hit near the stowage, only smoke appears, without a sharp spread of fire. Commanders see the effect on the graphs. Fewer equipment losses, more sorties for the same company. Mechanics note that there is no corrosion with timely draining and refilling. Requests for the kit are growing. Neighboring crews are asking for the same upgrade for their ammo racks. The successes in the reports do not remove the issue from the charter. Captain Randall prepares a report on unauthorized modifications, no approval from the unit, no factory bulletin, potential risks, fire, leakage, broken fasteners. He calls in the mechanics and crew commanders and sets out the conditions. First, the system remains only within the framework of controlled tests, with daily inspection of the sight glass, fasteners, and gaskets. Second, a mandatory checklist before departure. Mixture level, casing integrity, overflow and drainage operation. Third, after each combat sortie, an inspection report and temperature measurements at the ammo box. Fourth, at any sign of fire or leakage, immediate dismantling. Fifth, prepare a written report and drawing for submission up the chain of command. Formally, this is still an unapproved modification, but now it follows the testing rules. The company begins to assemble simple kits from spare parts, WETKIT. Each kit includes a galvanized cover sized for an ammo box, felt gaskets, a copper tube with clamps, 2 pipes, overflow and drain, a canister of mixture, and brief instructions with a checklist. It takes the mechanics 1 evening to install the kit on the vehicle. They adjust the cover, install the gaskets, pull the tube, secure the sight glass, pour in the mixture, and check the overflow. Next comes training the crews. How to check the level before departure, how to refill, how to drain after combat, what to look for during inspection, fasteners, leaks, darkening of the felt. A week later, the neighboring company requests the same kits. Another week later, the plan spreads throughout the battalion. They send us the dimensions of their ammo racks. We cut the covers in batches and arrange the kits in supply boxes. At the same time, they refine the details. They install a quick-release coupling on the filling line, add a hand pump for refilling in the field, and replace the sight glass with an impact-resistant one. Testing continues, and orders are growing. Night raid. A narrow road, walls and fences along the sides. The tanks move in short bursts. An enemy shell hits the side of Brooks's vehicle, right near the stowage area. Inside there is a bang, a dull thud, and a long hiss. The crew reports, "There is smoke, but no fire." The system has not been penetrated. The temperature of the ammo box is checked with a pyrometer. It is hot, but there are no signs of ignition. The vehicle continues its mission, withdraws on command, and returns under its own power. During the inspection after the raid, it is clear that the level in the sight glass has dropped by 2 divisions. The felt has darkened, and the cover is intact. Refilling takes 2 minutes, and the fasteners are secure. The report notes the main points. There was no open flame near the ammo rack after a direct hit, no detonation, and the tank is combat ready. Hayes silently notes the vehicle number and system operating time in the log. The commander signs the test report. The solution is simple, inexpensive, and repeatable. It can be installed wherever it is needed, and that is exactly why it was started in the first place. If you found this field fix helpful and useful, subscribe and like it. Write in the comments which frontline upgrade you want us to cover next. In the next video, we'll show you a simple aiming trick that dramatically increased firing accuracy, and why they initially wanted to ban it. Click the bell so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. Let's move on.